All right. So, what's up, IK? I guess we start with just like brief intros, and then we can go from there to the topics that they asked us to touch on.
Yeah, sounds good. I mean, they didn't say we had to like follow the script word for word. Like
True.
it's just like things to like I guess conversation starters, but
Yeah.
we didn't have to follow it.
All right. Well, just to let you know who I am, my name's Phillip Simpkins. You can just call me Phil. I'm originally from the south suburbs of Chicago, Illinois. I'm currently in St. Louis, but I do time back and forth between the two places for work obligations and things of that nature. I also have a son. He's 2 years old. That currently he's out there in St. Louis. So there's that. I graduated from the University of Missouri in 2014. I was in interdisciplinary studies, which is a cute way of saying that since you don't know what you want to major in, you can pick a different concentration, and then that could be kind of like your emphasis area. So I chose English and communications. I then went on to start doing master's studies for an MBA, completed that March of 2020. Uh, so yeah, man, doing media is my thing. Uh, and now I'm trying to also see if I can parlay into maybe breaking out as an actor. But right now, those are my areas. What about you?
All right, so my name's Ikechukwu. I also go by IK. I'm from Nigeria, but I was raised in California. Me, as far as like studies go, I'm a pretty simple guy. Went to Howard University for undergrad, graduated 2019, and
Okay.
I just recently got my master's also in DC, right across the street, which is kind of funny because I stayed in DC at American University at the
Okay.
no, believe it, this is number one school. Number one school. I got my degree in journalism, my master's in journalism at American University in broadcast journalism. That's the number one school. I kid you not. It was a 1 year accelerated program, hard as hell. Still did it. I almost failed like multiple times, but I still did it. And
Okay.
that's two things I'm super proud of. Just finished 2020 for that. And I guess a little bit about me. I'm super competitive. I love winning. Like I don't know why. I'm just like addicted to winning in anything that involves competition. So sports, I'm not your guy. I'm not like, let's say that we're playing basketball. I'm like the worst one to go up against because I suck and I'll cheat. I'm the type of guy who I'll cheat to win. And like people won't know that I'm cheating, but like I might just like maybe trip you and be like, oh dude, like, oh, are you okay? I won't say anything. I'll act like it was an accident, but I really did it on purpose just so we could win or get like a
Ah,
leg up.
okay.
Competitive, charismatic, funny. So that's kind of a little bit about me. Nothing too big. Nothing like masters disciplinary going to the Yales of getting the degree at Yale or whatever.
I didn't go
But
to Yale, man. I went to
I mean,
Mizzou.
it's something. It's something still. I mean, it's still something. You gotta have something. All right,
That's
let's
true.
get into it. Let's get into it, bro. Let's get into it.
All right, sure. So the first thing when I was watching your side of the clips, I noticed that you say you really don't align with no political party. You kind of more so focus on like individual thought. So I could kind of feel that because there's so when in terms of like the dynamics of politics, there's a lot of people that say things to try and lean you one way or the other. So it's always good to be neutral. But what is your reasoning for wanting to like kind of keep being like an independent, so to speak?
So for me, it's more so because I just like to keep my options open. Like I want to see which side kind of has the more compelling story or which one's gonna be better. I don't. As far as politics go, like I feel like a lot of it's like just like bullshit. Because a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people they're like, oh yeah, the Democrats, socialist reform, and the Republicans, yeah, let's get some more tax breaks, and it's like a lot of times it's like you want to get away from the government. I'm not saying that like the government's not helpful. I mean, keep in mind, like, I mean, we got cops, people that they're supposed to keep us safe, things like that. We got uh scholarships or whatever, endowments, whatever to help keep like charities alive. So I'm not saying the government's like worthless. I'm just saying people get so stuck up in the government that it's like they almost forget that like the government's only one piece of the puzzle. Like you have to still do a lot of the legwork yourself. So that's why I'm like, okay, bro, I'm just gonna be independent because a lot of people think, oh, Trump's out the White House, the world is saved. I'm like, it doesn't mean that you're gonna be a millionaire the next day. You know what I mean? So that's kind of why I tend to stay away from like choosing a party because people get so gung ho on the parties that's like they forget that at the end of the day, their lives are not going to change that much. The government just does a small piece of it. The rest of it's up to you.
Oh no, no, I completely get that because I don't know, as you get older, I remember the first election I even voted in was in 2008. That was Barack Obama's like first term, trying to get into office. I felt proud to be like, hey, I voted Obama. He got into the White House, and
What
yeah,
changed though, huh?
I mean, but when you look at the whole landscape, and because I took like AP history in high school, and then my dad's like a huge history buff, so he's always constantly like, watching the History Channel, trying to give us some information not only in terms of American history but also African American history. Then you see just how the system was designed. It wasn't necessarily designed for individuals of color or for minorities to thrive. And then you have politicians who try to feed into that in various ways or trying to prove themselves to be an ally when sometimes that's not necessarily true. So it's always good to kind of like listen to what's going on and peep the scene, especially now as we get older, because now we're kind of like that core in the demographic. Like millennials are exactly who politics are trying to feed into, because they like, we need y'all, 'cause there's more of y'all now than there is of like the old guard, like the Gen X's, the Gen Z's and whatever. So I'm trying to be very cautious of who I consider myself aligned with or whatever that is, because I want to make sure that the people who are in power are doing so to help all people, not just specific subgroup, not just the rich, not just the poor, but like everybody, because everybody has something that they bring to the table. And it's good to make sure that you feel that your thoughts, your opinions are being heard on a broader scale.
No, I feel you on that. I definitely feel you. I mean, obviously, both parties bring different things to the table. Because I mean, I kind of read in your clip. You kind of have like it was almost similar. Like, you're like, yeah, they both have their own. They both have their own like secret agendas or whatever. Because
Yep.
obviously, like, I mean, because you got to put on a face. Like, let's be honest. Like, when you go out in public, you got to put on a face. Like, nobody really knows what you're thinking, but it's like you got to do something that people like, or you're not gonna get elected. Like, that's
True.
the bottom line. You know what I mean? Because if nobody's gonna elect the guy who's like, all right, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do a $1 million loan break and free everyone who has loans. And you're gonna say that everybody's like, yeah, all the college kids who took out millions of loans, yeah, that's cool, awesome. But then you got like nobody wants to see the downside, which is now the rich have a bigger tax. They gotta pay more taxes. You know what I mean? Like obviously that's gonna upset some people, but they're not gonna say that. They're just gonna say, yeah, guys, no more loans. Everyone who has up to $1 million in loans, they're all gone. Students are loan free. You know, everybody's smiling, but somebody has to get hurt for that to even happen. So it's just like, so I remember because you in yours you kind of said like, yeah, there's a lot of politicians don't tell the whole truth. They just tell a little fraction of it. So I respected that. But for me, I tend to side with Republicans, even though I know that they tend to help the rich a lot more. It's just that personally, I know that it's like you always want to go for the I guess it might just be my winning attitude. Like you always want to go for what's the best things in life. Like right now, like I'm not gonna lie, I'm broke. Like let's be real, I'm broke. I'm a college kid. I took out hella loans to even get the master's, all that. So I'm broke. But it's like at the end of the day, I still know where I'm going, and I know I'm gonna be like a millionaire, rich, whatever. All the successes, I'm gonna get that later. And I know Republicans tend to shift rules to those types of people, because Democrats is more so like I want it's more so communism. Like they want everyone to be on the same level and people can just stay where they are. There's no growth. That's the thing I don't really like about the Democrats. There's no growth, but I do know that they help the most people. Like Democrats, like you know what I mean, the welfare, all that.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like, but a lot of people tend to like kind of like opioids, like tend to just get stuck on it. So that's kind of why, like, I mean, I respect the Democrats for doing a lot of good, but it's just like a lot of the good ends up hurting them in the long run, because a lot of people just get stuck on it and getting that check every month for welfare and like just staying where they are instead and getting complacent. They don't want to grow. So I just that's kind of why I tend to side with Republicans more, even though I don't really have a party. I'm not affiliated with any party. It's just like one actually wants more growth as opposed to the other one just wanting to just be like where you are. What are your thoughts on that? You have a side that you kind of like shift towards?
Uh, I guess if I had to pick a side, I would probably lean more Democrat. Like, let's be honest. Like, that was one of the cool things I learned in history is like how things kind of shifted. Because for a while, like early on, like a lot of African Americans were kind of like leaning more towards like the Republican side, especially when the Emancipation Proclamation came into came into town because they was like, okay, slaves are going to be freed. That was something that Abe Lincoln tried to get done, but that necessarily, if you look closer into it, it only freed slaves in certain regions and certain states.
I mean, they're still like indentured. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it was still indentured servitude and a lot of that going on. But I think since I was born in 1990, so I came right around the time Bill Clinton took office, and a lot of people had a lot of respect for Bill and a lot of things that he did during his presidency, minus the Monica Lewinsky thing. Yeah, minus that.
They said that he was the first black president.
Yeah, a lot of people did. They were calling him the first black president. I was like, you don't look black, but it had to be the Saturday Night Live when he was playing the saxophone, like playing the blues. He had his glasses on.
Nah, the Qs made him remember the.
No, it was the Sigmas. The Sigmas made him an honorary member.
It was the Sigmas.
Nah, it was Sigmas.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm a member of Omega Psi Phi. He's not an honorary member. That was definitely the Sigmas.
Iota Phi Theta. I remember Iota.
Oh, okay. One of my best friends in Iota.
Huh?
Okay, but yeah, like I want to say, and then from Clinton it went to Bush, and then when you see everything that transpired during his 8-year run, I was like, Kanye West didn't make that help.
Okay, but look, a lot of times, like I'm not gonna lie to you. A lot of times when like there's usually something that could just ruin the whole presidency. Like for Clinton. The thing that ruined his presidency was freaking 9/11. Let's be honest. Like that's the only thing people remember. They don't care about anything good that happened. Everyone's like,
you're talking about Bush? Yeah, because Clinton got out of there right before 9/11 hit. Bush had just got into office.
And that's all people remember. Like they don't remember any of the good stuff he did. Like just 9/11, because he just kind of like sat back in his chair and just like, he didn't know what to do because like nobody's, you know what I mean? Because it's never happened before. Like no terrorist action has happened on that scale where they could have just crushed you. Like they literally crushed them. They almost like crushed America as far as like all of our flag points. Like they're about to like ram into the White House. They ran into the freaking Trade Center. You know what I mean? Like they just like, it was like shitting on America. And you know what I mean? It made him look bad. And then that was his presidency. Like he looked bad and he had no chance, especially when Obama came. It was like he had no chance just because of that. He did some good stuff though.
Oh no, he did some decent stuff. Like
it didn't matter.
It just kind of like, and then you add the fact that Hurricane Katrina came about, and then like he was kind of slow in providing aid. So yeah, he was kind of donezo. But then people said like Obama didn't do much, but I'm like like there was only so much you can do, and a lot of people don't realize presidency. There's checks and balances within the system of government, so that no one branch of the government has power.
That's what I'm saying. Like a lot of people are like, "Oh man, the new president, things are gonna change." Like that doesn't mean anything. Like you still gotta get through the judicial branch, the legislature. You know what I mean? Like there's so many like walls and barriers before the president. Executive is just one thing. You know what I mean? They just do. You still need two other guys to even make that happen. So it's like literally, they're almost. I don't want to say they're powerless because they can still do stuff, but they're not as big as people think they are.
No, because that whole, like you said, like you got the legislative branch that vote on laws and amendments. You got the judicial branch that makes sure that they're adhered to and governed appropriately. Then you got the executive branch that's supposed to sign off. And there's like so many people with different agendas within these forms and chains of government where it just all gets entangled. So it's hard to really get anybody to be unified on anything. So.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of where the Democratic and Republican comes. Like a lot of times people will just like two branches win. Like if you have a majority House and Senate that's Democrat, okay, we can get a lot of our, you can get a lot of our agendas done. And that's kind of where that comes into play. Because a president, if they're Democrat or Republican, that means you have one win. Because you need like two people at least to win. So the president is one guy. So if they're blue or red, that's okay. We got one teammate. Now it goes up to the House and the Senate. Now, if the House and Senate are majority blue or red, it's like, okay, good. Now we can just get whatever the hell we want done. You know what I mean? Because now you can just pass laws left and right because you have two people. You only need 2 out of 3.
Yeah, that's true.
So it kind of comes down to like, I guess that's kind of where the president's role comes in. Because it's like you have a majority Democratic House and whatever, or Senate. And then you have like a Republican president. I think what's his name? Joe Biden coming in, like I think since the House and Senate are a majority red and he's blue, a lot of stuff he wants done is not going to get done.
It could be true. We'll see. I don't know. I forget this election was itself was crazy. But before the election, man, what's COVID-19 like done for you? Like, what is that?
Bruh, what has it done to me? As in, like, what do you mean? Like, what, like how it's affected my
Like,
life?
yeah, how's it affected your life? What are your thoughts on it? Like,
Bruh, COVID ruined everything, bro. Like, not, cause so I like I told you, I just recently graduated this summer. Like, literally just this summer. Like, I
mm-hmm.
had a couple things in the workings for my major, like a couple of networks that were gonna let me come on, cause I'm a broadcast, so that's like an anchor,
Okay.
reporter, news, all that stuff. And like second COVID hit, bro, like they literally all the doors were shut. And next thing you know, like I'm over here like working as a cashier, bro. Working at a freaking cashier at a restaurant because all the doors that I had open were shut. Because like, oh yeah, we're keeping our staff small. We, you know what I mean? Like we're trying to figure things out, and like they're still trying to figure things out. But like I was like set, bro, before COVID, and then COVID hit, and bam, it's like I went rock bottom, like Patrick. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel you. Cause well, working remotely that's been kind of cool. So you ain't got to be around too many people.
Oh,
That's
like the
been fun.
restaurant, since restaurants are like essential workers, bro, we
Yeah,
go
and
in
you
person.
gotta go. Yeah, you guys gotta
Yeah,
go
so over
in.
there, people freaking sneezing and stuff, like, bro. And the place I'm at, like, all you do is wear a face mask. Like, there's no freaking like protectors or nothing, and they take cash. Like, so we over here getting cash and stuff too. You know, like, oh, can you break me this 20? I'm like, bro, like, what are we doing? Like, what are we
Shit, I
doing?
think
Like, can
this
I break a
20.
20? Like, why are we doing this, bro?
Oh, yeah, I know. I
But
already
like,
know it's rough. I know it's rough.
nah, it's mad rough, bro. So I mean, it's taking us, but I mean, obviously, what's that quote? Like tough times last, the tough people. I don't know. You know you get the gist. So I mean,
I get what you're trying to say.
I obviously I powered through it, bro. Like it wasn't like it ruined my life. It just sucked. But at the end of the day, like you know what I mean. I think Kobe Bryant had it harder when he played on like two broken ankles than me working at a freaking restaurant with COVID people. You know. You dig? Like, all right,
Do a Kobe reference in there.
yo, but yeah, and I guess on another aspect, it's like, as far as relationships go, like, that shit's been sinking, bro. Like, Tinder is like the only way to, Tinder is the only way to talk to people. Who would have thought? People are like, oh, I don't use Tinder.
He
Now
said
every
Tinder.
girl's using Tinder, right?
You're like, I got
Oh,
a
I
Tinder
love
account now.
Tinder's their best friend because now they're getting lonely. It's December time, like, oh, because guys can't shoot their shot anymore because of COVID, so they're just kind of like, it's kind of like nobody's talking to anyone. And now Tinder is that's like, instead of saying hi to a girl in real life, you say hi over freaking Tinder. That's how you date now. That's dating 2020, Tinder.
Well, I haven't jumped on Tinder yet. I haven't gone that route
Bro,
yet, but
like,
maybe,
obviously,
maybe
I
later.
think you got a girl, right? So that makes
Nah,
sense. Oh, you
uh,
don't? Like,
no, single dad in it.
you're lacking. You're lacking, bro.
I guess so.
But hey, what'd you think of Trump's presidency? I mean, you hate him, you love him. Like, you think he was terrible? Like,
Uh,
what's that?
honestly, I thought his presidency was probably perhaps one of the most dangerous times in
You think
American
so?
history. Yeah, just
Right, right.
not even. I'm gonna take the pandemic out. Like, even though he had
Because
some
I will say
control.
a lot of people were just I was just thinking the pandemic is what really, because I think he was really about to win again. He was about to win, but if the pandemic did not hit, I'm pretty sure he had a good chance of winning. Pandemic,
Probably the pandemic probably
yeah,
did him
after the
dirty.
pandemic hit, I'm like, he's not gonna win.
But
Even though I like the guy, I'm like, he's not gonna win. I knew it. I'm like, there's no way. Like the pandemic did too much harm. Like it was just like the freaking 9/11, just like 9/11. It did too much damage.
yeah, but see, there's the difference. Like, I don't think Bush knew that they were going to drop planes, so he got another term,
Yeah,
even
you
though
talking
people
about
didn't really like
yeah,
him.
okay, look,
But
he
Trump
really
was aware
bro,
of COVID-19. Like,
bro,
we can't
no,
sugarcoat that.
no. I heard that. I'm like, what are you doing, Trump? Like, oh, that was so
So
dumb.
that's a difference. Like, you can give Bush a pass because like nobody's going to predict you taking an airplane and bombing a building with it. Like,
What?
I can look past that somewhat.
Oh
But
my
you knowing that this is, and they trying to tell you that this is bad,
God.
but you like, we're going to play it out.
No, but I think he didn't know. Like, I think he thought it was gonna be like a flu, like it was just gonna go away. So it backfired. I think because I feel like it was one of those things, like, oh, it's no, like how kids are like, oh, it's no big deal, and
Yeah.
then next thing you know, it's like bigger than what it is. Like, like let's say they like spilled water on the wall, and like, oh yeah, it's no big deal. it's gonna go away in like a couple of days, and then it turns into mold, and then it's a big deal. Because I think at first he just thought it was just like water under the rug, like yeah, it's nothing, and then next thing you know, it became like a puddle, and then it became like drainage. You know what I mean? So I feel like that's what he was going for, but like, like it just backfired so bad. I'm like, because it literally ruined everything. Because
But
I mean, I read a lot of guys' books. I like business wise, because I'm an entrepreneur. I love the business aspect, like his story of like how he was handed $1 million and he turned into $1 billion. Like you gotta think about it. You gotta respect the guy. I mean, you don't gotta love his like politics aside. You gotta respect him. He's done everything anyone could ever want to do. Rich, famous. He made it in Hollywood. He's He's a billionaire, and he became president. Like who's done that? Like who has ever done that before in their life, bro? Like that's respectable. Like outside of politics, like, put all that politics aside. Who's ever done that and been successful? Like even if people shit on him and say, "Oh yeah, you're not my president. You're not my president. Obama's my president." No, it doesn't matter who. Like in the books, he's in the history books. People might not like him, but you gotta respect him. Like nobody. Like I want to see anyone who could do that. Millionaire to billionaire, made it in Hollywood, and then became president. Like he's a presence. So if anything, you don't gotta. What's that line? You don't gotta love him, but you gotta respect him. That's how I see it.
now for me, this is where we kind of part ways because like the route that he took to get there, like I didn't like Trump to begin with because I thought he was just like this dude who just like said outlandish stuff. It's like the uncle at the barbecue. Like you see him there, like he may have a good life and everything, but you know he's a crazy guy that talks a lot of shit. You just be like, all right, you know, whatever with him. You know, it is what it is with him. But the path that he took to the presidency and then some of the things he did there to kind of like I feel like I wouldn't say he was the root cause, but he was a root cause in a lot of what we're seeing right now. Hence why this project even exists, like a divide. Because he literally drew a line in the sand during his campaign and it really split people like this. Like either you over this way or this way. Like, cause like independent thinkers like, okay, I just want to see where my stuff lies. But it really made it hard for people who like yourself, like people like, you know what? I can respect this guy as a businessman, but maybe not so much endorse his politics or his views or whatever. It makes it hard because I'm looking at him like, bro, like this. I see him as a morally corrupt individual, like, because and there was so many times where he could have like you know just been the bigger person or kind of addressed some of the social issues that kind of are taking place, but he never did that. And the fact that he aligned himself with a guy who is well noted, has ties or at least roots to like sort of like Klansman affiliations or people who are like white supremacists, I'm like, yo, I don't know. I can't get with that. I just can't. I can't. Like there's some about him just and using that to his advantage to kind of like activate different people because we all knew systemic racism was still a thing and that's probably something that's not going to go away anytime soon. But then to see more people come out again and then with these like targeted slogans, make America great again, I'm like, from my perspective, I thought America was pretty good. Like where at certain point when did America not be great?
$24 trillion in debt, bro. Like, I mean, is gonna crash. The dollar is gonna crash, bro. Like we print money like it's nothing, which is devaluing. Since Nixon took us off the gold standard, like the dollar is trash, bro. The dollar is freaking trash. Like gold, because we used to be backed by gold, and now we just print dollars like it's monopoly, bro. It's all paper. Everyone gets millions of money, and now like money's gonna be worthless soon. It's gonna be fiat. Like freaking like we had this. It's gonna be like a random currency that is just like it's gonna be trashed.
Oh, I know money's becoming like no longer is like a finite resource. I'm understanding that, like especially as vastly as we print it and try to distribute
bro,
it.
Think about it. America, bro. Like America, like it's getting to the point where like, cause we're in debt to China. Like that's there's no way around that. Like we're in billions of dollars in debt, trillions probably at this point, and we just keep on borrowing more. And America, I kid you not, they've done it before. They're just gonna say we're not gonna pay back because we don't want to, and then that's the end of it. They've done it before, so they're probably gonna do it again because like they owe China a lot, and they've done this to other countries where like, yeah, we're not gonna pay it back because we don't have to, and then they'll sign a paper, and then that'll be it, and then they don't owe any more money. Like is that how, you know what I mean? Is that how you handle business? You say I'm not paying it back. And so when we're at 24 trillion in debt, like how are we gonna get, how's that gonna get fixed? So that's what it's like. So America, you know what I mean? It's like one of those things, like from the outs, like just we're born here, so it's like, yeah, it looks cool, but like there's all these things that are going on, and it's like the problem just keeps on like adding up. If that
Yeah,
makes
but
sense.
the debt's been going on for decades, so he never specified what he was trying to do to make America great again. Like, I never heard of anything specific unless I missed
He said a
something.
couple of things. He said the wall. I mean, there's some things he did say. Like he said the wall. I think he said take away Obamacare. So he said a couple of things.
Yeah, like, and
But
Obamacare was actually helping individuals. It's one of the few things in Obama's presidency that where you can like really pinpoint, see how it's helping like people who are impoverished get adequate health care, because that's still an issue, and that's been an issue since the 40s, and if not longer.
nah, it definitely. I mean, that definitely was one of the takeaways from Obamacare. But it's just like one of the pools is like of Obamacare is it's a tax on the rich. That's what it is.
And that's why he wanted to get rid of it, because and this man, like, what, $775 I heard is what he paid in taxes.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know his tax. I don't know his tax forms. I don't know. Were they ever released? I don't know. Because I mean, I don't know if they were
I
ever
remember
released.
seeing a report like that, and I was like, I thought that was like false. I thought that was like, what's them TMZ people?
Bro, look, I'm a journalist major. I'll tell you this. I'll tell you one thing that I did learn in school, bro. A lot of times, journalists so I will side with Trump on that. A lot of the news is fake. Like, because a lot of times journalists, they need to. It'll be like a little percent of the truth because you need to make headlines.
Oh
You know
yeah,
what I
I
mean? Like,
know.
who wants to watch something good? You always want to watch something like a homeless down the street got burned by a lighter. Is that more interesting than, oh, I gave $20 to charity? Which one's more interesting? Is going to draw in more views? Because at the end of the day, journalists, they gotta make money too. So it's a business. So a lot of times, like Trump, he's not wrong when he says a lot of the media is fake, but a lot of it is like it's over exaggerated. Like, oh, they won't say the whole thing; they'll just say a piece of it. That way, you can get a reaction, and then next thing you know, like it puts the guy on the spot or puts someone on the spot to speak, even though it may not be that much their story. You know what I mean? And then there's even like little bits of tactics. Remember like Tory Lanez in the Meg shooting?
Mm-hmm.
So like they say accused shooter. You know what I mean? Well, why would you say accused shooter? Why don't you just say the accused like rapper? Now it looks like he's the shooter, right? And everybody thinks, oh, he shot her. You know what I mean? But he's accused, which means he didn't do it. So you see how like you see how they kind of use tactics to get people to side a
Oh
certain
yeah,
way.
I'm taking
So
classes
that's
where you
why
see
I
words and
know that.
phrases manipulate the truth or distort the truth. I know all about
That's
that.
why I said like that's why I kind of agree when it's like fake news. Even I'm a journalist, so I went to the best school in the world, and they said like, yeah, this is what we got to do. They didn't say it like that, but it's like, you know what I mean? You call a spade and see what they're doing.
Yeah, but like I said, my issues with that guy was like way deeper than like a pandemic, and like I had
Uh,
issues with him from the time he took office, and then like even his
don't tell
campaign.
me how the grab her by the pussy thing, how that affect you?
Bro, I was like, first of all, I thought somebody made
Nah,
that up.
you know that man lost his job, right? I think he used to be the Tonight Show host, Jeb Bush or whatever his name was.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
was, right?
So and I'm like, yo, that's the guy y'all voting for president.
I mean, that's
I'm like,
but you been to the locker room. That's locker room talk, bro. Real talk. Like he didn't know he was getting recorded, but if you're in the locker room with your boys, I mean, that's kind of a white. He's kind of white, you know. You probably gonna say I grabbed her by the pussy, you know what I mean? When we're black, we probably say, oh yeah, I hit, I smashed that. You know what I mean? It's like it's similar. Only it's like that's more like black people would say like that. He's like a white guy. Oh, grab her by the pussy. You know, that's like a white guy saying it. If he's in the locker room, you know what I mean? He would stand out and say something like that. But a black guy would be like, yeah, I smashed that. You know what I mean? Like I mean, I'm not saying like okay. Look, I'm not saying I'm on board with that. I'm just saying like at the end of the day, like you're a guy, I'm a guy. You probably play like basketball or football, right?
basketball.
Yeah, you know, like after you win the game winner, you in the locker room like, yeah, I'm getting played tonight. You know what I mean? Like you're like, bet you know my girl was there. I won the game winner. We beat them. We're state champs. I'm getting played tonight. I don't care what. If you're the one who won the game winner, hell yeah, you're getting played, bro. You're not gonna tell that to your boys. Like we don't know what's gonna happen. You just like you just want to brag now. Like, yeah, I'm getting played, bro. And my girl look like Megan Fox or freaking Halle Berry. Insert whatever girl you want in there, Rihanna. you would say that to the boys in the locker room. You know what I mean? So I'm not gonna say like, I'm not saying I'm for it. I'm just saying it makes sense in this context because he's with his boy. He didn't know he was getting mic'd up, and that was kind of like foul because I mean like he was in like a trailer, so I don't know why. You know what I mean? That it doesn't even deal with politics. So I don't even know, but I just say this like locker room. To me, that was locker room talk, bro. You know what that is, so I can't. So I don't gotta explain any further. You're a guy. We both play basketball. We know what that is.
I know what locker room talk is, but you shouldn't be indulging in that type of thing. Like at that, I mean, I get it. He's a man. Like a man's gonna still be like talk like and do whatever, but just have like just a wherewithal to know that you still know who you sitting there talking to. You gotta know your audience. They ain't a locker room.
No, I mean that was not when he was president. That was when he was just a Hollywood guy. You know what I mean? It was that was.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right.
So you see what I mean? Like people were freaking president. You know, they brought politics into it, which had nothing to do with it, which made no sense if you know what I mean.
I mean, no, I get what you're saying. It's just it doesn't look good. It's just.
I mean,
like,
obviously, but bro, like that's like high school. Like that's like somebody showing you a picture of your high school like prom. You know what I mean? You have pimples, acne, look like a nerd, and now you're like a model. You know what I mean? It doesn't look good, but it's like, come on, man. Like he doesn't. You don't do that anymore. Like you don't freaking look like that anymore. That's kind of how I saw it. Like that's not him anymore, dude. That was just who he was. Like because he was with
I think that's still him.
talking.
I think that's still him.
Huh?
I can't give him that benefit of that. I think that's deep down that's still him. Now, did that surface in the White House? Probably not. But do I think that's still him? Oh, definitely.
You think so? You think?
Yes, definitely. Like even look at him now, man. Like now he's like going all over the place talking about how this election was rigged and that demanding a recount and that he ain't leaving the White House.
I knew he knew. I feel like I don't blame him for doing all that because the man wants to run again. And you know what I mean? Like he would look bad if he just lost without, just walked away. So I can't blame him for doing that. Like I knew he was gonna lose, but you gotta understand where he's coming from. He wants to run again and he has a good chance of winning and being the Republican nominee again. Because a lot of people are like, oh yeah, you're right. He's it was false. And he got a lot of supporters still. Because like his supporters don't want him to back down. So he has to kind of play into that role. That way he can win again.
I get that, but
like he's doing what it takes to win, dude. That's kind of how I see it.
I get that, but still, there's a certain point where you have to like at least bow out gracefully. Like it happens, sometimes it sucks to be that guy that only gets the one term. I get it. I completely get it because you probably looked at it a certain type of way, revered a certain type of way, and then for you to only get 4 years in that position and then be on the outs, it's gotta suck. Like I get it, but there's a certain decorum that you should show that would do you more service in the long term than as opposed to like just going on these tirades talking like, I ain't going nowhere. This election is rigged. I demand a recount. I'm gonna do whatever it is in my power to win. I'm like, okay, I get that. Like you're a winner. You see yourself as a winner. That's cool. You probably won at a lot of stuff in life, but eventually, and they tell you this at every level, whether you playing amateurism or professional, you're gonna take an L at some point. And how you act in defeat will really showcase the character of what you are. So what you're seeing right now, bro, isn't reflecting too well. But maybe, again, that's just me. Maybe I'm just of different ideals and opinions. But I would respect him more if he would just be like, you know what? I feel like I did some great things in my 4 years. Some people may or may not respect that. But, hey, ultimately, if you really want to make America great again, this is kind of a segue into like us transitioning to new leadership. Because at least that's what Obama gave him. Obama, when he got elected, he was very courteous.
8 years, bro. This man wants 4 more years. He's coming back in 2023 or 2024. He's coming back. We all know he's coming back.
Can you come back? I thought after you served, you can't come back.
You can come back. You can only serve 8 years, but you can run again as long as you do 8 years. So you see how that
was going to try and run.
You see, that's why I was saying, like, it makes sense he's doing this because he's going to be still favored in the Republican Party, even when Biden's president. So he's doing this so he can run again and win. That's the only reason he's doing this whole all these shenanigans. Like he knows he lost. Like everyone knows he lost, but he's not going to say it because he wants to run again and get those 4 last years. Because you can rent. Obama, Obama had nothing to lose. He won. It's over. You know what I mean? He did 8 years. After 8 years, you have nothing to lose. Like, you did all you could do and walked away.
Shoot, I remember George H.W. Well, I don't remember. I wasn't alive. I was barely alive, but I do remember like reading how, he was pretty courteous to the Clinton family and kind of like making sure that transition went smoothly. That's all I asked. Be the president. Sometimes in the best of times and in the worst of times, and I didn't really see that from Trump. So
we all know who Trump is. He's different. Like, let's be real. Trump's different. Like the way you saw him, like whenever you watched him, you had to smile. Like the guy.
I didn't smile. I just thought he was crazy. I was just looking at him like this.
He entertained you. Like remember Clinton when he was versing Hillary Clinton in the 1-on-1, and he just like roasted her. Like it was literally, it was like a comedy show, dude. Like
that debate. I ain't gonna lie to you, because I remember exactly what I was doing. I was watching that debate. At this time, I was where was I? I was at home because I lived in this little small suburb called Shrewsbury. It's like 15 minutes from downtown St. Louis, and I remember just sitting out at the TV watching the debate and just cringing because what she was trying to do, she completely got sidetracked by his antics, and his antics.
He shut her down, bro. He's like that guy. He's terrible. Like, bro, he would do really well on like Wild 'N Out, don't you think? I think he would do really well.
Oh no. Cause see, he's not dealing with somebody who tells jokes for a living or clowns people for a living. He wouldn't last a minute in Wild 'N Out.
You don't think so? I mean,
no, and they don't even like him over there. So now,
I mean, I'm just saying, like, obviously, like, he's not. He might not be on the show, but I'm just saying, like, the way he acts, roast, like he literally just roasts for a living. Like that's what got him into White House. Just his roasting people.
But I remember Obama roasted him at a dinner when he was still in office. He didn't take too happy to it. He sat there just like this, red as hell, like tight. You hear me? So he can dish it. He may be able to dish it, but I don't think he can take it. Like just real tight, like head to the side. Maybe gave a couple of shakes, like he didn't approve, but nah. He may be able to dish it, but probably can't take it because Obama was coming with that.
Were you talking about like at a dinner party? It was like at a dinner party?
It was a formal dinner, and Trump was there. I don't know. Maybe Obama invited him just for the sole purpose to diss him. I don't know. Maybe Obama's petty, and we don't know. But he was there.
What did he say?
Oh man, Obama touched on his, The Apprentice, because that was his show. He made fun of that. He talked about he talked about like how this country is still trying to recover from debt, where like he was like, I heard, and he mentioned like Donald like had some debt that he was still trying to recoup for, that he filed like some type of bankruptcy or something. So he made some slights, and then he also said like, I never seen a white man turn orange.
He said you're turning red. He said why you say that he was turning red?
He was like, no, y'all turn red, but I see you turning orange. So there was some jokes being spewed. I was like, huh?
Obama, bro. I didn't know Obama. I mean, I think I saw him. He said one thing once. The funny thing is, the biggest joke of this all was Obama told Biden not to run. He's like, Biden, I don't think this is for you.
I ain't know. Truth be told, I wasn't sure if Biden was going to win because I didn't know too much about him other than he was Obama's VP. And to this day, I'm hoping for the best. I voted for Biden, so hopefully, I don't look like a dummy for doing it. Hopefully, he actually does some decent work in office. But I gave him the benefit of the doubt because later on, I know that initially Obama had his hesitancies, but when he endorsed them, that's when I signed on because I was like, originally I was looking at it. I was like, I wanted Bernie Sanders to like get a shot.
I said, don't run. He literally told this man, yo, look, don't run. He like in a one-on-one, he's like, just don't run, Biden. Like, just don't. He tried it once, it didn't work. He's like, just don't do it again. Everybody's like, yeah, I love you, Obama, and he just did it anyway.
I mean, but him and Kamala Harris, I'd love to see what they'll do for this country in 4 years. So we'll see. I'm keeping an open mind.
I'm not expecting too much, bro. Like, I mean, presidency, like what? I mean, when was the last time the president said what you could? Like, where can you buy a burger? You know what I mean? When was the last time the president told you where you could eat on like Tuesday or Wednesday? Like, they don't really, in a day-to-day basis, like they don't really do too much. But I guess like we'll see. I'm the only thing I'm really hoping for is that COVID goes away quickly. That's the only thing. That's
Bingo.
that if that happens, then okay, cool. You know, things are on track.
Bingo on the vaccine.
Anything else is like whatever. Just the COVID thing. That's about it.
Yeah, we can get COVID because a lot of people. I want to get rid of it just for the simple fact there's a lot of people hurting right now. I know some people who are in furlough status who don't have the luxury of working remotely. They either have to show up because they're essential workers like yourself, or they are non-essential and they've been placed on furlough status. Some have been just completely let go. So just trying to figure out those next steps and continue on from there. That's like my biggest concern. If we could just get through this pandemic, get a vaccine out there so we can start, people can
People saying
start getting
March.
back to normal.
This, people are saying March.
I ain't buying that.
You're not getting it.
I said I'm not buying that. Like I need to see more. I need to see vaccine in place, like vaccine out, and people.
Yeah, honestly, it was just like this white boy in my class, in one of my classes I was taking. He's like, "Oh yeah, vaccine by March." My mom's a military scientist in the military, and they're working on all these different vaccines. Like he was talking like all this like whiz kid stuff. He's like, "There's gonna be a vaccine out by March." Early, it's like I'm surprised at how fast science is working. Like the kid was like, he was acting like a nerd. I'm like, and you know what I mean? Like he said, like I don't know if he's telling, I don't know if it's gonna be out there. If there's no like research backing him. He's just like, yeah, it's top secret stuff. My mom's in the military science. I'm like, okay, yeah. I'm like, all right, cool, March. That's why I told you. I don't know if it's real or not. That's just what he told me from his big spiel on his mom being in the military sciences and vaccine and top secret confidential. Yeah, he told me, which I guess it wasn't too top secret since he told me that. But yeah.
Well, I'll believe it when I see it. But man, thank you for coming on. Appreciate you. This was fun.
Nah, this was good, bro. Uh, kumbaya.
All right, man.
All right, G.
Hey, you take care.
All right, peace.
Peace. Stop recording here.